Amin Gulgee.
Paolo brought me to Venice 20 years ago when I was young, and I fell in love with your city, and I fell in love with him. And I'm back, and I'm very thrilled to be back.
My name is Amin Gulgee, and I've been working as an object maker for about the last 25 years. And my practice primarily deals with copper and bronze, but I also do performance works, and performance is very interesting for me and very much part of my trajectory. I like the ephemeral nature of performance versus my medium, copper and bronze, is quite permanent. I live in Karachi, Pakistan. That's where I'm born and bred. I have a gallery space which primarily shows my work, but once a year we open it up for experimental shows, for shows that have no real commercial point of view. It's just to bring a new kind of work to Karachi audiences. Behind me is called Charbagh 4. It's an installation work. It's made out of copper, bronze and sand, and it consists of 64 individually created copper leaves, and each leaf is important for me and should hold itself as a piece of sculpture. And together the whole idea is Charbagh because it's interesting. What the Mughals brought to South Asia was the Charbagh garden plan. It was the most innovative thing that they brought into architectural design. Before that, the Hindu gardens were vast and rolling, and they brought this very structured Charbagh, which is basically the Greek cross, to South Asia to organize the gardens. And for me, it's a balance between the organic and the linear, and of course for us Muslims, paradise is a garden. And also, it's a large part of my work also deals with Islamic calligraphy. And the calligraphers would use the flowing motion of the leaves to be inspired for the script. And so it relates as that. And it's an endless cycle of birth and death and rebirth. And also what interests me about the Charbagh motif, the two lines meeting at perpendicular, is that this motif has been repeated again and again through many cultures. In Hinduism, in the Mandela, in Christianity as the Greek cross. It appears again and again and again. But for the Mughals it was interesting. It meant the four rivers of life meeting at the cosmic center point from erupts the tree of life. I love people to touch my work. That's the great pleasure working in copper and bronze, that it can be touched. This is not ephemeral. And even if it wears away, I don't mind it. I want people to sort of embrace my pieces. And this series has been going on for quite a while, over the last 7 years. And it's gone through many metamorphoses. And one part, I did a performance called Where's the Apple to Schindler, which I choreographed and visioned, and it took place within this Garden of Eden, or the Charbagh. And I worked with musicians and actors and dancers to create this sort of work about sexuality and gender relationships. My father was a very respected, iconic painter in South Asia, in Pakistan. And my parents were very liberal. Both my mother and father were partnership. And the only thing they ever asked of me was, please don't be an artist. So when I went to Yale, I did economics like a good South Asian man. And then this French girl took me to my first art history class. And I fell in love. And it was a class on gardens. And I did my thesis on Mughal gardens, and thus became my interest in art. It kind of drew me back. So in a way I blame America and the French. And also another thing I'd like to say is movement. Dance is incredibly important to me. I mean, how things move. And in my pieces, I want to capture that sort of feeling, that kinetic energy of things moving, of things just dancing. I seek inspiration from everything, a part of, and what's interesting is when we talk about Islam, people have forgotten what an incredible art history exists in Islam. And there's sort of love for geometry, the idea of pattern, of repetition, and of music, and yes, a lot of my work does deal with where I come from. I cannot ignore it. Very much part of my trajectory. But then it gets mixed up into my own mythology, into all my area of dreams and, in my own sort of world, where you take these ideas and you just make them your own, and you go into you're through the looking glass, you're down the rabbit hole, and it's my wonderland. An artist is funny, like on one side of it it's very public and you're there and you're presenting yourself, but my creation, the act of working, I keep super private. Everything's locked up. I don't like people watching. I only have my team of about 5 guys, sometimes 4, and I don't sketch or draw anything, so everything is very direct. And they all know me very well. They've been with me for many years, and we don't speak a lot. They just know what to do when I tell them. I'm a fascist when it comes to work and my production of work. There's no democracy in this. And these are threads. When you're working, there is an incredible anxiety, at least I do, or tension. Work for me is the closest thing I get to prayer. I mean, it's a really private time for me, and it's anxious, it's tense. But when it really works, it's when you lose yourself, and when things are really working, where you feel like you're not making the things are being made themselves by a certain energy. Something else is coming in, and they're doing my story for me, and things are just forming, and that's when things work. And when they don't work, it's fine. I just put them in my storeroom. My storeroom is as big as I'm very easy to let go of pieces that just don't happen. And with my work, I've just followed my own stories. These are my threads. And I just let them go wherever they want to go. And the objects seem to demand to be made. And you're just a conduit. You are just there to just sort of vomit them out of you and just take them out of your body. And there they are.